Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Voice of Reason. I am Ryan Foltz, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about racism, and not necessarily who, but what it means in 2020. What it's the modern definition of the word racist is treating someone differently because of the color of their skin. I mean, I would assume that it's not necessarily treating someone good because of color of skin, because then we wouldn't be talking about it. But it would, so it's got a more negative connotation when it comes to what you do to other people who have a different skin color than you. However, today in our society, the term is way overused, and it can be said about almost, what it means now is, I don't agree with what you're saying, therefore you are a racist. And the amazing thing is that when it comes, at least when it comes to politics, the way that politics is supposed to work is you have, in this country we have two different sides, but if, there were 3 or 4 different political affiliations that you could be a part of, the goal is to get people from a different point of view to agree with you on something based on the, let's see, what's the term I'm using for, based on how good it would be for you to do. So in order to have a rational discussion with a person who has different political opinion than you, you have to understand that at the core of what they're saying, what they believe is, what they believe is, in their opinion, what is best for the country. And the way that we kind of ignore that is that we just call someone racist, and then that's it, because you don't want to talk to a racist, you don't want to have anything to do with a racist. And that's, I get some people consider that a win. I personally don't, because what is the name, what does the name calling do? Like, what does that prove one way or the other that your position on a certain issue is correct? If I have a philosophy or some legislation that I think would be good for America as a whole, I'm going to present that to you, and I'm going to show you the facts. And I'm going to say, hey, look, if you do this, and this will happen. And if you don't do this, here are the possible ramifications of them not doing whatever it is. The where we have a disconnect is, I think that this, and this are right, and you don't think that this, and this are right. And instead of saying, hey, I don't think that's a good idea because of X, Y, and Z, you just say, because you're a racist, and I don't think that that's right. It really turns people off to your opinion, because it's like I gave them my my vision of what I think we need as a country, and they just said that I was racist. I don't understand how you get someone to come on to join your political side if you badger them over the head and call them racist every time they have a different stance on something. It's like, I support the police. So if someone on the non-police side, if I said, hey, let's have a discussion about why you don't agree with it, if they just said, because the police are racist, but can't give me any proof that they're not, then you're not going to win me. I mean, especially if it's someone who may be considering, you know, switching sides. What you have done is you have just for no reason you just turned them into a person who says, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. I didn't give you any. I mean, you didn't give me any reasons why your idea was better. You just called me a bunch of names. I mean, if you happen to get called a racist, you have to. The way to get around, because once they call you a racist, that's it. They're gonna call you every other name in the book. You have to just logically ask them questions that you know what their answer will be. And one of the ways you can do this is like this. If you're let's say that you're anti-Second Amendment, and I'm pro-Second Amendment, right? I say, why do you not like the Second Amendment? Well, because guns are racist. If that was your argument, how are guns racist? I don't know. They just are. I don't like them. I don't think other people should have them. They can be used for causing physical harm to someone. I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense. Some crazy person could have a gun and they could go around shooting people willy-nilly, just for the heck of it, because they have the gun. So my response to that would be, all right, we have to dumb it down, take it to on the most simplest terms. All right, since racism and white supremacy are just running rampant through the streets, if, let's say, there's a racist out there, some white supremacist who sees me and says, you know what, that guy's a little tan, I'm gonna go break into his house, I'm gonna go shoot him and kill him. All right, so this guy has illegally obtained a gun. All right, he's done it illegally. He's gone outside the country. He's floated over on a raft with a gun. He's not supposed to have one. He has one. If he comes into my house and I don't have a gun and he does, how am I supposed to defend myself? And when you can usually see the gears turn in their head when they're like, how do I rationally oppose this? Because you really can't. So what you have to do, if there's someone who's just convinced that because you're a Republican or because you don't support the Democratic Party that you're a racist, you just have to break it down, and you really do have to know what you're talking about, because there's no rules for them. They have absolutely no rules. Whatever they say is gospel truth, and that's it. So if you don't know what you're talking about when you get into an argument, even if you know that you're right, they will still say that you're wrong and plaster your face all over the place and say this person's a racist because of X, Y, and Z. If you're talking about modern racism, the real modern racism comes from Democrats. Ironically enough, the people who started the KKK and who were, using the N-word to talk to, when they talk to other, to black and American citizens. And what do you hear now when you see a black conservative? The names are already picked out. Even if you're a white person, you can still use this language because I don't know why, because in today's society, if you're white, you're not supposed to say anything. You get called Uncle Tom, you get called a coon, you get called all sorts of names. Even white people will come to a black person and call them these names. It doesn't make any sense if you're the inclusive party. If you're the party where everyone is invited. It is ironic that the party of inclusivity is the ones that will shut out a certain amount of people because of something they'd done years ago, or because something that they support. I mean, like look what happened to Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a pretty good guy. I would assume that he was a Christian. I know he's talked about it before, and I would assume that because of that, I know his stance on things. And he was a part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which has traditional roles in marriage for men and women. People, a lot of liberal leftists didn't like that, so they dogged him and trashed him, and he came out and he apologized for it. Step number one: don't apologize for anything, because once you do it once, they're gonna get you. You're gonna do it. You're gonna have to do it for every single thing. The next thing was he said that he was gonna stand for the national anthem because he had members of his family who were served in the military, and LeBron James and several other well-known athletes came out and said, I can't believe he's saying this. He just doesn't understand what we're doing, and he needs to do what we're doing, or he's a racist. And he came out and he apologized for that. And now, a couple weeks ago, I guess they were at practice and they have names of social justice victims or police brutality or whatever the term is now across their helmet, and he had Jacob Blake's name on the front of his helmet. And I don't understand why you would put a person on your helmet who sexually assaulted a woman, and who was, I mean, from what I understand, who was trying to kidnap her children. I don't understand why you would put his name on your helmet. There's so many other people. I saw that Alexandria Villanueva from, I believe, the center from the Pittsburgh Steelers, he had the name of a fallen, I can't remember which branch of the military, a fallen service member who risked his own life and saved 6 other people, and he got killed in the process. He had his name on there. Apparently there was some sort of uproar from people. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but this is the culture that we live in today, and these are the new rules that we have to abide by, apparently. And so I will abide by whatever the rules are for the other side. I'm going to play by those exact same rules. There's not going to be any well, we can do this, but you can't. Now, if you guys can do it, I'm going to do it too. So just be ready for that, because there's a lot of conservatives who maybe in the past would have been like, hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this the civil way. We're gonna we're gonna let them say whatever. No, not happening anymore. If you say something, or if you do something that warrants criticism, then we're going to criticize you. And to be honest, it's for the good of the country, because we have to understand that the situations and the things that we allow certain people to do are the things that everyone else is then entitled to do. And I'm not talking about like inciting violence or something that's illegal, but if the rule is we can go back in your past and we can dig up X, Y, and Z, because 20 years ago you said this, and now that's offensive, then it's going to be done back to you. That's just how it's going to be, because some people can't play by the rules, so we're gonna go by the made up rules set by someone else. So anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, we've got a country to save.